A parade of homes is where the local builders will showcase really the best of what they can do. And as designers, we love to attend a parade of homes. It's often where the builders and the architects and the top designers will pull out all of the stops and really showcase their very best work. Utah Valley Parade of Homes is definitely made a name for itself over the years. It's really the top parade of homes in the northern Wasatch Valley. A lot of people love going to see the St. George and Park City Parade of Homes as well, but the Utah Valley Parade of Homes definitely has the best homes, interior design, and architecture of all the parades. That's why we love to attend them. Some of those current trends that we were anticipating seeing in the parade and hoping we would see, we definitely did see those in the parade. First of all, we saw those heavy veined marbles in both furniture and in fireplaces, and of course in some beautiful countertop materials. We love seeing those rich colors that we've been seeing at market brought into people's homes and in the design. What we did expect to see is a lot of organic textures, and we certainly did see plaster walls, which is what we expected to see, and plaster fireplaces, which we saw the most of. We loved seeing that texture, and what we didn't expect to see though is a lot of the designers had incorporated some unique features into the fireplaces, and we did love that added texture and added pattern into those fireplaces. We also saw those darker wood tones that we've been loving, whether it was in a walnut or an oak wood. We saw dark finishes, and really we saw a lot of wood finishes and not very many white kitchens, but that rich, warm color that we were expecting to see that's very on trend. We saw that throughout the entire parade. One of the things that we've been talking about is bringing those outdoor materials inside. And we loved that we saw that in the parade, specifically with a lot of stone. We saw the stone being brought through to the house, either in interior walls or of course on the fireplace. And it was a beautiful added warmth that people are really looking for in their homes. We also seen a lot of fluting, of course, in our own design, and that's what we've been implementing. We expected to see that throughout the parade, and we really saw it almost everywhere. Every home wanted a little bit of touch of fluting, either in their finished work or in their cabinetry. It just adds a little bit of that modern and organic touch, and we loved seeing that at the parade. One of the things we did see is we saw a little bit of color in a couple of homes, but really not as much as we anticipated. Color is absolutely on the rise. Color, wallpaper, a lot of fabric detail. And so we thought we might see more of that in the parade. And we saw just a little bit of color drenching where rooms were wrapped in a beautiful, rich color. And that was beautiful to see and fun to see. And we would absolutely expect to see more of that in upcoming parades. Throughout the parade, it was definitely easy to tell the houses that had a significant budget. Those houses were beautiful, and you could tell that they truly did pull out all the stops, were able to really dress up the home from rugs and details, beautiful lighting, window treatments. Now, there were some homes that I knew were on a less reasonable budget, and those homes were equally as beautiful. You could tell some of the details were not there. They didn't add window treatments, and there was less furniture. It was less full. However, you could really see that the design was thought through from beginning to end. So everything had an intention and a purpose. So of course, when you have a big budget, that makes everything easier from the architect to the designer and of course the contractor. But a smaller budget, if you use design and you really think of something from beginning to end, we always call it value engineering. You could find those key places that are going to make the most impact for your project, and really make those the features in the home, and then save money in a few other spots that really aren't going to make the difference. We could see that throughout the parade. Homes that didn't have the budget, but that spent money in just a few places to make the home a little more complete and finished. So what makes good design is that regardless of the budget, you can tell that design has been thought through really from beginning to end. Maybe a little bit of value engineering so that you can consider all of the design options and what then works for your budget. Good design really just continually flows. You can see the continuity between the architecture, the interior design, and the landscape. And there's just beautiful flow really from inside to outside. The architecture complements the interiors complements the architecture and the landscape. And really there's this essence of harmony, which is in the design world a mix of unity and variety. So we love to see a little bit of variety and a little bit of unity throughout the house, and that gives it really great design. When we did the walkthrough, we were at the Raycon home designed by Lisa Ward with Jukes as the architect. And I loved a basement bedroom in that home that I told our design team as we entered, I said, this is a deputy room. I love that there was a lot of color. It was playful. It wasn't overdone and too quirky, but just a little bit quirky, which really fits my personal preference in maybe my personality and also design. So I absolutely loved that bedroom in the Raycon construction home. So we did see a lot of variety of style. Utah lends itself to maybe a more narrowed view of style. Our clients often come to us and there's only a few styles that they love, and typically it's something they've seen in a parade. Our job, of course, is to try and open their eyes to a bigger world, but we also want to give our clients what they want. So in the parade, you could see where the designer might have had more control. And of course, that led to more continuity amongst the design, where the designer truly was in control of the project. And while I'm certain they listened to the client, they also knew how to create what the client wanted and create that with some continuity and unity and harmony throughout the house. Now, there were some times in the parade where I felt like you could see a little more of maybe the homeowner's personality, which is great, but sometimes that comes across and there's not as much continuity through the house because there's less control in the design when the client is more heavily involved. Beautiful architecture. Of course, the landscape was spot on and the interior design was truly perfection. That was a home by KB Construction and the interior design by House of Jade. One of the things from a design perspective that I loved was the unique lighting that was used throughout this house. It was not something that we saw everywhere, and I specifically loved the play with scale. If you happen to tour this house, you might have seen ginormous lamps mixed with itty-bitty baby lamps, and that was a really playful use of scale throughout the home that just made it a little bit more unique. As far as the trend of organic materials go, we saw a lot of those beautiful natural materials, natural marbles, and plaster used throughout this home, and the colors in the house continued to be warm, and we saw that that was definitely on trend. This was one of the places where the stone was brought from exterior into interior, so the transition from inside to outside the home was really perfect. The next home that we loved, again, had a great budget, so that's always a big help, was from Raycon Construction with Lisa Ward and Gatehouse being the interior design team with Jukes as the architect. And of course, our number one favorite thing, and Michelle and I specifically noticed, was the floor plan in this home was really perfect. The design of this home trended toward more of that modern European style that a lot of Utahns love, and the design was implemented really well. Great use of color. We saw a lot of those beautiful plums and warm tones throughout this home, and of course it did feature my favorite bedroom. So the design really had a lot of layers of texture and detail in finish work, and the cabinetry was beautiful. And then there was a home that stood out to us on a lower budget, and that was by Innovate Homes, and Chanel Designs was the interior designer at that home. Good design was really seen throughout this home, and it didn't matter that the budget was a little bit less. You could see that good design carried throughout the space, and they thought through every detail. So the style on this home was a little bit more of that modern organic style, which of course we love. There was limited color, but what was lacking in color, they made up for in probably what the homeowner is really looking for: a lot of warmth, a lot of texture, and those organic materials. We love the stone in this home, and we just love the warmth of the beautiful wood tone that was carried throughout this home. And we also love some of the asymmetrical details that we saw in the finished details of this home. The architecture of this home really leaned into the views that were really almost 360 views from the front to the rear of the home. And we love how they captured the view railings so you could just really see through to the view no matter where you were in the home. Of course, a lot of times our clients love to tour the parade of homes, and sometimes that might be during construction. What we recommend for our clients is once we start designing their home that they do not look at Pinterest or tour a parade of homes if they can get away with it. However, that doesn't always happen. If our clients are touring a parade home, we recommend that they're looking for some specific things. We think that as you look through a parade, or if you're just looking in general, you should look at some of the general ideas of the home. Don't worry about focusing on every specific trend that's happening, because that home might not translate to what works in your home. So if you're already down the path to design, you want to consider just finding the few things that you love, knowing that everything you love doesn't always translate onto your plan or your property or the views that you have. So certainly keep that in mind. However, if you're really new to the design process and you have the opportunity to just dream, it's great to just walk through and notice what you love about each home. So as you tour the homes, it's great to just focus on the function of the home and maybe a little bit less on the specific trends. Because as a designer, if you're hiring a designer, it's easy for us to pick up on the trends and what will work for the floor plan that's been created for you. But you might want to find those things that you truly love from a function standpoint. That might be a seating arrangement that you love, or a floor plan, the way that the floor plan lays out in a home and how that functions for your family, or it might be some specific cabinetry design that you feel like would create beautiful function for your family as well. So we are excited to work with Rainey Homes on a beautiful home in the Daybreak area that's going to be featured in the Salt Lake Parade of Homes, which starts August 2nd and goes through August 17th. And we love working with Rainey Homes to create some unique spaces. And we feel like this home is a little bit different than maybe the other homes that you see around the other parade of homes in Utah. We have created a little bit more of a nod to a more historical type of home, but also still on the current trend with a lot of warm tone throughout the home. Rainey Homes really builds a home that's more accessible to the masses. And so this home has a lot of luxury elements and a lot of great design, but things that are more easily attainable for the majority of us. So you can expect to see maybe something a little bit different than what you've seen in the rest of the parade. This home has a little bit of an eclectic vibe, but more of a nod to a more historical home. The home is set in Daybreak with a beautiful stream, and as many people know, it's a lake community, so there's a nod to Lake House, but also some of those historical elements. It's got a great homey feel. It's going to be more cozy with those warm tones that are truly on trend. So we are excited to share this home with the parade in a few weeks. At Live, we love parade season. It's a very long season in Utah where there's a lot to see, but it's inspiring to work with other contractors and be able to do our own parade, but also get to see and experience what other people are doing and just beautiful design and construction and architecture throughout the state. So we are excited to see you come visit us at our parade house August 2nd through August 17th, and come visit Live Design Pontiff and Rainey Homes in the Salt Lake Parade of Homes.